there's no way they actually do this. But we got to talk about the latest Padres headlines as the hot stove rumor mill continues to cook. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you for tuning in. This is the part of the show where I do the typical YouTube spiel. If you want to make a comment or hit the subscribe button or anything like that, at this point, I hope that you know that there are a fair amount of you that are returning viewers, and we love and appreciate you guys all. And we're going to survive whatever this World Series throws our way in terms of Dodger highlights, especially because we've got Padres baseball ideas to once again talk about. And I want to get to what I kind of LOL'd at headline-wise was this one right here. It is a legitimate headline, but it's also one that, again, a little bit of an LOL. Padres predicted to try to trade for all-star starting pitcher from the Nationals. That is Mackenzie Gore, for those of you that do not know that name. He was a former Padre and former Padres, notably as a prospect forever, that he came up a little bit. He had a cup of coffee with us. He looked good, and he was part of the Soto trade. So we sent Woods, Gore, a nice package of talent over to the Nationals for a 1 year of Juan Soto that did it or didn't work out. And I'm not going to say that then that means Mackenzie Gore's numbers or a Mackenzie Gore trade like continues to add to the sum total. But my initial thought here was LOL. I would hope that your thought too was LOL, that we're like, hey, we dished some great prospects. They became good baseball players. We would like them back. But once you get past the I'll bleep, here we go again nature of this headline and start to actually get into some of the numbers, I think this kind of summed up an interesting year for who Gore is as a pitcher right now. And he's an all-star this year for the National League. That 3 ERA with 130 punch-outs in 110 innings. You know what? Even with the LOL factor, I am down for the Padres to be in on that discussion. It's a team that the Padres don't necessarily have like unlimited ammo to get deals done, but you read that second part where he slumped in the second half, posting a dreadful ERA. So I don't think that right now Mackenzie Gore is necessarily the blue chip prospect. Sorry, don't know why I struggled on that one. The blue chip prospect that is going to get like this massive haul. I don't think he's a nobody, but he's kind of in that in between where like the market is going to maybe fluctuate a little bit on this one, because here are the final numbers for Gore. That is not good. That's not necessarily the worst. This almost 200 strikeouts, good whip, but that's indicative of he was not on a fantastic team. The Nationals last year did not, or this year, last year's in the season that ended like 11 days ago. But this past year, he was not on a world-ending Nationals team that just was out there making like, hey, we're going to score 100 runs all the time for everybody and get all of our pitchers supported. Okay, so, and it wasn't like he was on the worst team. It wasn't a good team. We're seeing it right now with Cease and King in terms of guys who did not necessarily put up the flashy win-loss ERA type of numbers, but the finer point analytics of spin rate and K to walks and this, that, and the other. We're all there, so people are still going to get their money. And so I think that there is a case to be made as you dig deeper into the analytics that Mackenzie Gore as a Padre could definitely be less of this and more of the 3 ERA guy that we saw in the beginning. Or at the very least, could be an above 500. Let's call it an above 500. A cautiously optimistic view is Mackenzie Gore could come to the Padres and be a above 500 pitcher win-loss wise. He could be a lefty who's got some zhoosh to it. That's like that. Hey, that Musgrove, Pavetta, decrepit Darvish, and then Gore. And round that out with we've let a camp battle happen, or a spring training battle for the number 5. 2 more years on the contract for Gore. So we're at a point where it's not like it's like I said, it's not like it's a deal that is gonna make or break the pot. I don't think that the Nationals, they might be playing. I mean, the article doesn't really get into too much specificity other than just the opportunity of saying, hey, look, the Nationals don't need to hold on to a guy who they're paying $12 million a year for 2 years if they can turn him into 3 or 4 pieces in the minor league system. And for the Padres to have that kind of potential, hey, we could control him a little bit. Like the narrative around the Padres, money-wise, seems to be that this ownership group wants to maintain spending, but is also cognizant of the fact that some of the contracts like Xander, Fernando, and Manny are all going to keep getting more expensive. So they can't keep saying, oh, well, it's only $200 million this year when it's really going to be like they're already committed to a massive increase in some later years. So finding pitching in the margins, not that $12 million for Mackenzie Gore is in the margins like, oh, man, that was the greatest deal ever. But I do think that there is a sense of like, instead of having to go in on Michael King for 22, that you are actually getting a decent market value out of that. And since you're not signing it to the longest of terms, you can let that contract expire and say, hey, in those 2 years from now, as everything really did explode, we do need to actually start cutting. Like it feels like it's maybe right in that sweet spot where, in doing all of the discussion right now in the last 6 minutes, I LOL at this less, and I get really torn because kind of on principle, and let me know, drop a comment. Let's talk about this. But kind of on principle, I don't want to trade a guy away and then trade to get him back. I don't want to get heisted for this, and I don't see this just being something where the Nationals are like, oh, yeah, we'll take 3 single-A relievers. Like, they're going to want something of note back for him. So I kind of on principle don't want to indulge this, but as you actually do the math and the discussion of it, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm interested in this. Plus, I did like him as a pitcher. He was good. There was a reason why the Nationals wanted him. Like, it's not like we're going to try to run it back with, well, hey, we're giving Nasty Nestor a 20-year deal. Like, dude, this could be an interesting one, but I want to know from you guys. This is maybe a litmus test of your stubbornness versus baseball willingness to look at the numbers and have that be your ultimate factor. Let me know. Drop a comment, and also if there's anything else you want to see another video on, drop a comment on that as well. And if you want to hit the subscribe button, I ain't going to hate you for it. Talk to you next time.